great day at the Academy of Scholars. Welcome to another episode of Scholarly Speaking Live with Dr. Stacy Lambert-Johnson, the Director of Student Success at the Academy of Scholars. I am Benny Crane Jr., the Assistant Director of Student Success. Today's topic will discuss how to talk to your child about Juneteenth.
Thank you for joining us for today's live session. No matter where you're joining us from, whether you're at work or at home, we pray that you're having a great AOS day and hope that you can visit us here on campus someday soon. So last week we celebrated our dads for Father's Day by discussing ways to let dad know that you love him. I hope all of our dads had an amazing Father's Day. This week we're exploring how to talk to your child about Juneteenth. But before we get started, Benny, where can our viewers watch today's live session once it's over?
Everything from this show ends up on our website, academyofscholars.com, including both the audio and video versions. Now, if you prefer watching us, you can find the video version on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you're looking for something entertaining to listen to on your drive to work, you can download the audio version anywhere you download your favorite podcast. Now, shout out to all those people who are joining us live today. And to those of you who follow us on our social media platforms, we appreciate you joining us. Do us a favor, tell your friends we're on. All you have to do is hit that share button right there. Comment and tell us about your Juneteenth this year. Did you do anything to celebrate and recognize the holiday? Do you think celebrating Juneteenth is important? Tell us. We want to know.
So Benny, how was your Father's Day?
Well, if I'm honest, I spent the majority of Father's Day driving back from the beach.
Oh.
So I would put the few days prior being able to get away with my family and my kids having the opportunity to hang at the pool and the beach as part of the Father's Day experience, and it was great.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you got to spend some time, with your family
Yes.
and enjoy your Father's Day.
Yes.
Well, Father's Day this year fell on June 19th, which is also Juneteenth.
Yes.
And I have to admit, Benny, that prior to moving to Georgia, I had never heard of Juneteenth. I'm so embarrassed to say this, but it's true. Being from the Caribbean, it was never discussed in any of my history classes. And I took extensive history courses in high school, let me tell you. Even in college, it wasn't discussed.
Right.
I learned all about the Emancipation Proclamation issued in 1863 and did not know about Galveston, Texas, and enslaved African Americans who had no idea for 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed that they had been free.
Yeah.
I had no idea until my move to Atlanta that such a day even existed. And when President Biden declared it an official federal holiday in 2021, of course, I had to do my due diligence so that I could explain its significance to my grandsons.
Well, I'm somewhat of a history buff, so I've known about Juneteenth for a while. But knowing about Juneteenth kind of felt like other random information that people who were watching Jeopardy with me and they hear me answer a question, then they look at me like, how do you even know that, right? Because we didn't learn about Juneteenth either in school when I was growing up. And the celebration always felt obscure and regional, basically, because it was only celebrated in Galveston, it seemed. And if I'm being honest, the etymology of the word made me feel funny too, because it mixed June and 19th.
Yeah.
Now, this is supposed to be a national celebration now, but it took some wrapping my mind around it because in everything, I wanted to represent Black excellence.
Right.
I never wanted to be a stereotype, and I've always been super conscious on how certain things that I did or other Black people for that matter did reflected on the Black community. So celebrating finding out 2 years post facto that slavery ended in a celebration called Juneteenth took some real mental energy from me.
I could see that. Well, I'm not sure how many parents or grandparents are in the same boat as I was in and trying to find a way to discuss Juneteenth to my 13-year-old grandson. I just wanted to be sure that any conversation that I had with him about the topic would leave him with hope and a sense of pride. So that's why I decided to do a Scholarly Speaking Live about how to talk to your child about Juneteenth.
And this is a great topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first thing parents should do prior to talking to their children about Juneteenth is educate themselves about Juneteenth. You don't have to do an in-depth study of the holiday, okay? Just familiarize yourself with its history and the importance. There are plenty of resources available that you can use to learn information, like books, news articles, podcasts, and even children's books. These resources can be impactful in broadening your depth of knowledge related to Juneteenth.
Now, 2020 may always be remembered as the pandemic year because of COVID-19, but I believe the tragic passing of George Floyd will also be recognized as a pivotal moment in American history. The public outrage started a crescendo of acknowledgement of America's history of oppressing African Americans, and the groundswell of celebrating Juneteenth blossomed from that. Ultimately, it culminated in it becoming a holiday in 2021. Since then, a lot of things have come out discussing Juneteenth, but perhaps my favorite discussion of Juneteenth actually happened in 2017 in an episode of the television show Blackish.
I actually remember that one. It was really good.
Yes, it was.
Now, second, ask questions. Find out what your child knows about Juneteenth. With it now being a federal holiday, it's likely that they may have been exposed to more information about its origin and importance from television, social media, or their friends. Leading with questions, even at the earliest ages, is a great idea when having conversations with your child about race, racism, U.S. history, or current events regarding race and racism.
Yeah, because my kids are learning everything from TikTok.
Yep.
Now, one of the hallmarks of African American parenting is having to engage discussions of race much earlier than our counterparts because of America's history and society. And what makes this conversation tough is talking about it in a way that acknowledges the struggle, dignifies our ancestors, and doesn't make Black children feel like second-class citizens.
Absolutely.
Finding out what your child knows could give you valuable insight on the depth you could or should go when you're discussing this with them.
So true. Now, third, encourage your child to ask questions that they may have regarding Juneteenth and share the information that you learned with them. Make sure the discussion is a family conversation. Share age-appropriate books and videos. For younger children, there's actually a Sesame Street Juneteenth videos that are out there that you can share. If there are questions that you can't answer, don't fake it. Be honest and let your child know that you don't know the answer, but you'll find out and get back to them. You can even include them in the research for the answer. Again, because it is now a federal holiday, there's a lot more information readily available that you can find and use in your conversation with your child about Juneteenth. Also, depending on your child's age and exposure, be prepared to discuss topics that may arise, such as race and racism.
Yes. Do you have any questions? Those are 5 powerful words. Use them. Now, to recap Stacy's advice, make sure you have a baseline knowledge of Juneteenth. Then ask your kids, what do they know about Juneteenth? Then, and this part is important, asking if they have any questions. I would add to perhaps anticipate the questions they could have, because this could be worth your while, especially when your children are younger. I think with our older kids, answering questions is easier because we take comfort in them kind of understanding things. But what if your 6-year-old tells you or asks something you think they wouldn't be aware of? You want to have thought about how you might answer, even if it, as Stacy suggested, honestly sharing that you need to do some research to answer it.
Absolutely. Now, finally, fourth, make sure you end the discussion on a positive note. Discuss why it's important to celebrate Juneteenth as well as 4th of July. Find local events and celebrations for both holidays that you can enjoy as a family. And if you miss the opportunity to discuss and celebrate Juneteenth this year with your child, know that it's never too late, not at all. If you're afraid of having a discussion about Juneteenth with your child because you're afraid that you'll have to discuss race or racism, don't be. Research done by the American Academy of Pediatrics shows that children can internalize racial bias between the ages of 2 and 4. And by the time they're 12 years old, many children become set in their beliefs. So don't put it off.
Don't put it off.
Well, what do you think? Did you discuss Juneteenth with your child? Did you celebrate Juneteenth? And how did the conversation go if you had the discussion? Did you learn something new from today's episode? Comment and let us know your thoughts on today's topic.
And if you're looking for more information to help you talk to your child about Juneteenth, go to our website at academyofscholars.com/scholarly speaking resources. And in the meantime, we suggest you check out the book, What is Juneteenth by Christy Jewell. Perhaps your child's library already has a Who HQ book in it, like Who is Barack Obama or Who's Oprah Winfrey. These books are always a great way to expose your young reader to history. In What is Juneteenth, Author Christy Jewell shares stories from Juneteenth celebrations, both past and present, and chronicles the history that led to the creation of this joyous day. With 80 black and white illustrations and an engaging 16-page photo insert, this book can be a great resource for your family to learn more about Juneteenth. And remember, no matter where you live in the world, you can give your child access to an exceptional Christian affordable education with the Academy of Scholars Premier Online Learning. Not only does the Academy of Scholars give your child the opportunity to engage in school at their own pace, but we also provide a comprehensive curriculum with classes like coding and computer science that will have your child excited about school each day. The Academy of Scholars Premier Online Learning is the online school you've been looking for.
I hope you enjoyed today's live session. To learn more about our amazing school, the Academy of Scholars, please go to our website at academyofscholars.com. Join us next time as we continue our live discussions. Next week, we're continuing our summer series talking about creative ways to make time for your child this summer. Until next time, I am Dr. Stacy Lambert-Johnson.
And I'm Benny Crane Jr.
Saying goodbye and be blessed.
The Academy of Scholars. Exceptional, Christian, affordable.